How you doing, guys? Today I am working on my 1957 wheel horse RJ35. Since my last video on this, just kind of getting it up and running, I've driven it around up and down the driveway in the yard about 3 or 4 times. Everything worked super good. I mean, everything seems to function, runs awesome, can't complain, but we do have a small issue that I would like to rectify. And what that is the head gasket is kind of squirting basically right around the exhaust area of the block where the head meets the block. So I'm thinking that the head is probably a little bit tweaked. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, remove the tins, remove the head, clean everything up. We'll inspect the bore and the valves, because I have not had this head off since I finished the engine a couple of years ago. We'll see how things look in there, and then we'll surface the head, clean the block, put a fresh head gasket in it, torque it to specification, start it up, and see what kind of mess we have gotten ourselves into. Before we dive into this, let me just say something in general. Back in the old days, this is where you find a lot of RJs will get their hoods cut right about here. And for the most part, the reason for that is the individuals can't get the steering wheels off the steering shafts because they're rusted in, and the roll pin that holds these steering wheels in places are basically just frozen. So a lot of people, or a lot of RJs, suffered the cut across the hood to get the back half of the hood off so you could work on the engine, or somebody has hacked the steering shaft in order to get the hood off. In this case, I'm going to try to get it all done with the hood in place. Now, if I have to take the hood off, it's not a big deal for me, because when I redid the steering shaft on this tractor, instead of doing a roll pin, I set it up with 2 set screws, one on this side, one on the other side. They're pinned into little divots in the steering shaft. So not a big deal. Loosen up those set screws, steering wheel comes right off. There's the 2 bolts here in the middle of the hood. Then there's the 1 bolt at the bottom of the hood. Disconnect the fuel line and my hood completely comes. Oh, and then the kill switch, but no big deal there. So, but the plan is to just do this all with the hood in place. So let's see how successful that turns out. Okay, I got the bolts all undone. Let's see what the damage report is, right? All right, we'll pull that out real quick. The bottom, let's take a little quick peek at the bottom of the head. Nothing. No carbon. We do have a little bit of juices right there, so, and that's exactly where it was leaking. So we must, you know, what is it? Oh, it's a little bit of oil. Yeah, oil, gasoline, a little bit of both. We'll just throw that up on the workbench. Let's get the flashlight. Let's see. Whoopsie daisy. Let's get a flashlight and see what it looks like in there. Yeah, not bad. You know, we got some scratches. We got some, but the hone is still there. You can still see a good amount of the hone. So, yeah. You know, it's interesting. It doesn't burn oil. I mean, it doesn't smoke, let's put it that way. Obviously, there's some oil all over the bore, but it might be running a little too rich, too, so might have to take a look at that. So let's take the head gasket off. Yeah, there's just a bunch of moisture all everywhere on that. You can see there's back, you know, exhaust valve is a little bit smaller, but and the reason why I say that is I just want to point it out that there is a little bit of gookiness all the way around the head gasket. So we're going to go ahead, clean everything up. I'll bring the head downstairs, we'll surface that, and then we'll reinstall. So I've gone ahead and swiped the head about in an X pattern this way and then this way, probably about 20 total strokes, maybe maybe 30, who knows. But I'm trying to do it as even as possible. And if you can see right in this corner right there, there's still a little bit of a witness mark. There it is, of the gasket. Everywhere else, it seems it has sanded really nice. So there might be a little tweak right here. That's right where the head was leaking the most. That's where the exhaust valve is. So I'm going to go ahead and just, 600 grit on the surface plate, back and forth until that witness mark disappears. I have the manual out. We have 200 inch-pounds, and then we're doing it in this pattern: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I have the book situated the way the block or the head is going to be situated, so that way it just makes it easy for me. I'm going to go ahead. Everything's clean. Head's clean, block's clean, bolt's clean. Going to open up the new head gasket, put that in place, get the bolts in place, and then torque the head down. And then we can reassemble it and see what happens. Head is torqued in place, 16.5 foot-pounds. The manual says 200 inch-pounds, so 200 divided by 12 is 16.6. So we got 16.5 foot-pounds tightened down to the pattern in the manual. One thing that's kind of cool is the blower cover is completely dry on the inside, so that used the old oil seal I used for the flywheel side of the crank seems to be holding, which is good. One thing I should just mention, and my individuals that have seen this engine in the past understand this, but if you're new to this engine, let me just tell you real quick what this is. This was a project on the channel that I called the grab bag Kohler. So in other words, not in other words, but what I had was I had an empty block. That was it. No oil pan, no nothing. No oil pan, because that's a different oil pan. So basically what I did was I built an engine out of all used parts that I just had thrown in buckets and boxes. The only thing, well, there's two things now that are new in this motor: the head gasket and the piston rings. Everything else is from, I don't know how many different motors over the years that I collected parts on. I mean, the flywheel, everything, even the points are used. And the condenser, everything, and the coil, everything's from all different engines. The only thing I used new was the rings. I did hone the block, and I did give it a little kiss, I believe, the valve seats with my valve seat cutter, but that was it. Used valves, everything. And the other thing, just to add another layer of craziness, is the piston rings I used that were new were not Kohler rings. They're actually Clinton rings that were for this size bore. So a lot of weirdo parts going on in this motor, even the carburetor, everything in the carburetor is used. The Shinaki that I have on this engine was NOS, so I guess technically that's a third new piece on the motor. So it's squirting a head gasket. Dude, it's allowed, in my opinion. I don't know about how many hours I have on it. It's probably about a good 15 to 20 hours. I mean, it's just a show tractor, so it's not driven or run really hard, but probably maybe 20, 30 hours, maybe 30 hours on it total over the course of the years. So let me go ahead and get this all back together, and we'll get it started. Oh, I am going to clean the spark plug wherever the heck that is. Oh, right there. I am going to clean that spark plug up. It does appear to be running a little bit rich, so I might take a little fuel out of it, but in a nutshell, let's get it back together and let's see if she starts. Okay, this is going to be a 100% cold start, so let's see what happens. Interesting. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and change the camera angle. It's looking pretty sealed up. All right, we're going to let this thing run and get hot, and we'll come back and see what kind of, it's kind of low on fuel. I probably should put more fuel in it. But we'll go ahead, we'll let this run for a little bit and see how things turn out. And there we go, guys. I think that thing's sealed up. I don't see anything. It was like weeping, pissing right around this whole corner, but looks like it's all sealed up for today. You can see where there's remnants right here, the shininess of where the oil and the gas was kind of seeping out of the head, but I think that's pretty much fixed. It needs gas, it's farting and popping, and let's see, so like, for example, in an RJ, you really got to have a good amount of fuel in it for it to run. You know, there's the gravity, they're just gravity fed, so let's see how much fuel we got in there. Oh yeah, you can see I barely have I barely have it covering the bottom, and I bet you the screen, where the heck is the screen? Oh, here's the screen right down in there. You can see, yeah, there's no fuel even on the screen, so it's farting and popping because it's fighting for fuel, so not a big deal. So with that being said, I said so maybe 3,000 or 4,000 times just then. Sorry about that. But this thing is ready for the Wheel Horse Show. Hopefully you're going to be able to make it down there. It's the weekend after Father's Day in June. I got my room set, got the truck all set, RJ's all set. We shouldn't have any issues with this. Some people have asked me if I was going to sell this machine at the Wheel Horse Show. To be brutally honest, probably not. I know probably is like giving the indication there's a possibility, and there is a possibility, but I'm not selling it for $25. It ain't happening. This is the only RJ35 I have. It is the best running, smoothest operating RJ35 I've ever owned, and I would be so bold to say probably on planet Earth, to be honest with you. So if you're going to see this thing cruising around, it is smooth and nice. So if you're interested in an RJ35 that needs nothing, as proven on this channel, this is probably the machine you're going to want. All right, well, I'll have to think about that. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment below because it helps the videos, it helps my channel, and gets these tractors out in a more of a public kind of knowing. I know a lot of people know about RJs, but you know, got to keep the hobby alive, and the only way to do that is to get it out, get the hobby out in front of people to kind of take a look at these old machines. All right, guys, thank you very much. I very much appreciate all your viewership. Thank you to all the new subscribers who are willing to take a chance on my channel. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day.